growing up, you know, you're getting your teeth cut, so to speak, in Ithaca. You playing in bands? You starting your own band? You starting to write music? How
I
did that?
started a band called Jaws, and we were, I used to book the bands up at this little club slash. It was like a deli during the day and a club at night. And one night the band didn't show up, and I had to like call a couple friends. So I called my buddy Iman and my friend Matt, and Matt had a Jaws towel. Matt's the drummer. He had a Jaws towel that he would wipe himself off with after he got done playing. And we hung it up in back of us and named ourselves Jaws. And that became the band that I made my first record with when I was like 21.
Uh, I
Called
I remember when you posted this on I think social on Facebook, and was checking it out. Like this is cool. It's Randy, you know.
Yeah, it's very like just
Randy.
a lot of it is super overcomplicated. Like we were really into Stravinsky, Bartok, and then John Zorn, like the heavy, aggressive, Naked City side of Zorn. That was like 90-second atonal punk rock songs with
Bursts of chaos. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
I
And
bet you
then
that performance must was probably pretty wild. People were like, "Holy shit!"
yes, it was. Yeah, it was. I remember seeing Zorn a couple times down at the Marquee Club in New York and being just thoroughly impressed at how tight those guys were. They had Joey Barron playing drums, and he's just stellar. So those influences came together with my love of. I also was always obsessed. That band actually started off not as like a jam band, but as like an improvising band where we had loose songs that we would play. Like one of the songs we would play was this song, Freedom Jazz Dance, which is a pretty atonal song based on lots of fourth intervals. And we would then just go on and jam forever. And even as the band got into playing more notey music, we still would sometimes improvise whole sets.
Wow. When did you move out to the Bay Area? What brought you out here?
Well, that band we put out our first record when I was 21, and then we moved out to the Bay Area like the next year or maybe 2 years later in
As a
90
band?
as a band, yeah.
Hmm.
And we used to play it down at the old I-beam down on Haight Street.
Yeah.
Um, Played at the Kilowatt. We used to we were hanging out one night with all the guys from Bad Brains
Wow.
because our sound guy was their sound guy, and so when they were on tour with Living Color,
Got it.
they came out to see us at the Kilowatt, which was still around recently down in the Mission.
Yeah, yeah. I used to go there quite a bit. I never got to play there, but I saw many shows. Just a cool little bar. It's funny, the I-beam, it closed right before I turned 21, but I tried. I remember I was a big fan of Smashing Pumpkins in the very, very beginning. Like I heard that album Gish when I was in college, and I was just like so blown away by it. That's particularly the drumming. As you can imagine, it's just so fluid, and everything about it was. I love that band. But anyway, I heard they were playing the I-beam, and I didn't know any. I was like, I didn't even realize it might have been a 21 and over club. So I showed up, and I looked probably like I was 14. I've always
Mad enthusiasm to get in
I looked pretty young back then, and yeah, I walked up the front, and the guy's like, absolutely not. No. And I went, well, can I just? He's like, no, you can't just. I don't even know what you're going to ask me, but the answer is no. And I basically kind of like stood outside and kind of, tried to catch a glimpse. And I listened from the side, but there was no way I was going to be able to work
there.
that one in, which was a bummer. So I never got to go to the I-beam, but so it goes.
We did a couple shows there. One of them we played with an old band, Helios Creed.
I remember them.
Yeah, that were kind of like loud and psychedelic. And I think that they used to sing through like two microphones. One was distorted and processed, and one was just, for regular vocal. And It was a blast. You know, things were going really great, but then we practiced so much and put a lot of pressure on ourselves and broke up in like a year, you know.
Yeah.
And then I joined up with these guys in the Billy Nair Show, which were an awesome band who sort of still are around and make great movies. Corey Maccabee is like incredible.
That's tripping me out right now because I have one of those Billy Nair show records from a long time ago, and I play it sometimes in DJ sets. It's just a really cool. I'm gonna just so I remember what it was, what the name of the song is. Um, but oh yeah, like nothing ever heard. And it's just beautiful. And it's funny now that you say that because it totally reminds me of your vibe. Um, and I absolutely love that song. Like I said, I will play it as like like kind of a morning. I work as a DJ. In like morning sets and things like that because it's just kind of such a cool chill thing. And my old friend Lauren Partridge, who unfortunately passed away from cancer last year, but he was friends with those guys. And I guess they had done a movie soundtrack, like something about an astronaut, like the last
Yeah, the American Astronaut.
American astronaut. Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
remember playing on the original theme of that. Like yeah, yeah, this is like back in the early 90s.
yeah, this is super weird, man. I mean, we've known each other forever, and I'm surprised to get surprised. You know what I mean? I figured I would have known this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was like the first time I ever went to Lennon Studios, you know. Like it's funny because like these days I teach at Lennon, you know, the world isn't falling apart and we're all trapped in our houses. But so the first time I ever went to Lennon was to audition for the Billy Nair show. And it was like I remember the audition was like, at about like 11 o'clock at night, like on a Tuesday or something. But
That says something right there.
yeah, but it was great. We played and it was like a connection right off the bat. And I was just, mowed over by how talented they all were
Yeah.
and awesome guys.
Oh, right on. Okay, so that was kind of your first non-you band, where you joined as a sideman to somebody else's thing. You also did a stint with the Mermen, yeah?
Did a little stint with them that was basically probably about a year and a half when, what was going on then? That was after it was, I went to India um, and studied the Sarod over there. Um, and after that moved back to the East Coast, back to Ithaca, and ended up not liking it all at all. But I was friends the whole time with Jim Thomas, who is the guy that writes and all the music for the Mermen, and plays guitar with those guys, and has always been a huge inspiration of mine.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's just so damn good.
Really.
And such a great guy. We worked at Haight Ashbury Music together, so we'd be
Oh,
like,
that makes sense. That's right. That
we
you
would be like, bashing boxes up in the basement and selling guitars and just talking about music all day.
lot of cool people working there. I remember
Yeah, Alan used to work there too.
Alan, yeah, bass player, right?
The bass player. And I was just talking with Martin
Yeah,
the other
Martin.
day.
And he
You know,
played drums on a few of your records.
yeah, he never played on the records, but he plays with us when we play live.
You live, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be Vince Littleton, who was playing in the Mermen at the same time that I was. He played on the Shelter Eternal record,
Oh, okay. Great. Yeah, I have that one as well.
and he used to work at giving drum lessons at Haight Ashbury also. So yeah, playing with those guys we were all friends, and worked at the music store. And the Mermen went through this like revamp session back in like 98 or 99. It was right when I moved back to the West Coast. And I had missed California like, in an incredible amount and didn't realize how much I loved it. Since then, I've been out here since 97 nonstop. Well, I was only back in upstate New York for about 9 months and then I was just like, I've got to get back to California, to San Francisco, where I have all these friends and can play music. So I joined up with Jim and played second guitar to him. And then I played bass with those guys for a while
Oh, cool.
and played on the California Happiness and Health Road Show. I think that's what the name of the record is.
Hmm.
Mostly just I did looping for that record and sarod playing.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. I gotta check that out because I'm not sure if I have that one. I have they had an EP that came out after oh, the big one. Anyway, yeah, I have a couple of the records and always just great stuff. Yeah, he's a beast on the guitar.
Tremendous.
And
Playing through
Alan was a fantastic bass player, and if I may say, a really really sweet guy. I got to know him a little bit. He used to
guy. They're all wonderful dudes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Martin through you, and he was super chill. But yeah, Alan, I would see him around at shows, or he worked at Gary Brower, I believe it was, for a while.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Gary Brower for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, he's tremendous.